everyone, welcome back to my class. This is Romana Ali. I hope you all are doing fine. In today's class, we are going to discuss about the different parts of our nephron. We know that nephron is a structural and functional unit that are found in our kidneys, and in one kidney you can find the presence of 10 lakh nephrons, that is equal to 1 million nephrons. So in each kidney of a human being, 1 million of nephrons are present. This nephron shows the two main parts. One is glomerulus and the other one is renal tubule. So nephron shows the two main parts. One is glomerulus and the other one is renal tubule. When you look at the structure of renal tubule of a nephron, then it shows the different parts. Like it shows Bowman's capsule. It shows PCT, that stands for proximal convoluted tubule, and it also shows a part called loop of Henle. This loop of Henle is divided into again two main parts: ascending limb of loop of Henle and descending limb of loop of Henle. That we'll see while talking about the different parts of our nephron. And after the loop of Henle, one more tubule is found, and we call this tubule as DCT. The DCT stands for distal convoluted tubule. So these are the different parts that together forms a structure called renal tubule of a nephron. So the structure of glomerulus we'll talk later. Firstly, we'll look at the structure of renal tubule. So when you see the structure of renal tubule, it shows the first part is Bowman's capsule here. So Bowman's capsule is a cup-like structure. In this way, a cup-like structure is found, and here hollow space is present inside the cup where the blood enters easily, where the filtrate can enter into the capsule. So in this way, the cup-like structure is found, and this cup-like structure extended, and it shows a structure called proximal convoluted tubule. This is a tubule that is present, and we name this tubule as proximal convoluted tubule. After this, a tube-like structure is arising, U-shaped structure is arising from this. It is going to broaden. Then this will extend and forms one more tubule like this. So here this cup-like structure is called as Bowman's capsule. This Bowman's capsule opens into a tubule. We call this tubule as PCT, that is proximal convoluted tubule. This proximal convoluted tubule extended, and it shows a loop which is U-shaped. Here this part of the loop is called as descending limb of loop of Henle, and a U-shaped loop of Henle can be seen which extended forward. It also shows a part called ascending limb. This extended, and it opens into another tubule, that is DCT. DCT stands for distal convoluted tubule. In such a way, all these parts are present that forms our nephron. This distal convoluted tubule further extends, and it opens into a duct which is called as collecting or conducting duct. So the parts of the nephron includes glomerulus and renal tubule. When we look at the structure of renal tubule, we can find the parts like Bowman's capsule, which is cup-like, and then a tube is present which is called as PCT, proximal convoluted tubule. This extended forward, and it results in the formation of a U-shaped loop which is called as loop of Henle. And this loop of Henle opens into a tubule which is called a distal convoluted tubule, and this distal convoluted tubule finally opens into a duct called collecting duct. So this whole structure is called as the renal tubule of a nephron. Let us see what are the different tissues with which all these structures are made of. So before we study about the different tissues that are present in the lining of all these parts, we need to recall the different types of tissues first. So animal tissues are classified into four main types. One is epithelial tissue, the other one is connective tissue, third one is muscular, and the fourth one is nervous tissue. Here the structure of nephron is made up of epithelial tissues. Epithelial tissue is further classified into three main types, and they are squamous epithelial tissue, squamous epithelium we can say, and columnar epithelial tissues are found, and even cuboidal epithelial cells are found. Based on the structure of the cells, the epithelial cells are classified into three main types. One is squamous epithelial cells, which are flat and single layered, and columnar epithelial cells are in column shaped, and cuboidal epithelial cells shows the shape of cuboid. So all these epithelial cells can be found in the lining of these different parts of the renal tubule. So when you look at the structure of the Bowman's capsule, then Bowman's capsule is lined by the simple epithelial tissues. I told you that simple and single layer of epithelial cells are called as squamous epithelial cells. So this Bowman's capsule is lined by the squamous epithelium. And the proximal convoluted tubule, it is lined by some other specialized epithelial tissues which are called as brush border columnar. Columnar epithelial cells are found in the lining of proximal convoluted tubule. And the loop of Henle, again it is lined by simple and flat cells. So these are called as squamous epithelium, right? So Bowman's capsule and loop of Henle, both of these structures shows the presence of simple and flat epithelial cells, and they are termed as squamous epithelium. Now, this ascending limb extended forward and it gives rise to a tubule called distal convoluted tubule. This distal convoluted tubule shows the cells which are cuboid in shape, and these cells are called as cuboidal epithelium. So, in this way, the different parts of the renal tubule are made up of different epithelial cells. Bowman's capsule and loop of Henle shows the presence of squamous epithelium. PCT is lined by the brush border columnar cells, and DCT shows the presence of cuboidal epithelial cells. This is how the different epithelial cells covers the different parts of a nephron, especially the different parts of the renal tubule. So, renal tubule shows you the main parts like Bowman's capsule, PCT, loop of Henle and DCT. This Bowman's capsule is a cup-like structure which is lined by the squamous epithelial cells, and this opens into a PCT which shows the presence of columnar cells. Loop of Henle shows you the two limbs. One is descending limb and the other one is ascending limb. The whole loop of Henle shows the presence of squamous epithelial cells, and DCT is a distal convoluted tubule which is made up of cuboidal epithelial cells. This is about the different parts that you can see in the structure of a nephron, and in each kidney 1 million of nephrons are found. Let us see where the nephron is found in our kidney. We know that this artery is called as renal artery that carries the blood into the kidneys, right? This artery when opens into the kidney, it is further branched into different arteries like this. It is branched into small arteries, and one such artery is our efferent arteriole which supplies the blood to the nephron. So this is called as efferent arteriole. This efferent arteriole opens into the nephron and supplies the blood to it. Here this efferent arteriole further moves and it shows the different branches again, and all that arteries join together which forms a structure called glomerulus. While explaining about the renal tubule, I told you that we'll talk about the glomerulus later. So here the glomerulus is found. In this way, the efferent arteriole, it moves further and the different arteries join together which results in the formation of a structure called glomerulus. Here Bowman's capsule is present like this, and this glomerulus opens into an artery which is called as efferent arteriole. This is how the nephron is present in the medullary part of our kidneys. Some part of a nephron is found in the cortex region and the other part of a nephron is found in the medullary region of a kidney. Now let us elaborate the structure to know better about the glomerulus. So this is our efferent arteriole. This arteriole further extended and it gives rise to a structure that is glomerulus. This glomerulus opens into another artery, that is efferent arteriole. Okay, so the blood from the efferent arteriole enters into the glomerulus. Then the blood gets filtered in the glomerulus, and the urea and the other waste materials like creatinine, it can be sent into the Bowman's capsule. Then the whole process of secretion can occur, right? So this is how the glomerulus structure is designed, and the blood into the glomerulus can be supplied by the efferent arteriole, and the blood which reaches into the efferent arteriole, that blood supplies the oxygen to the renal tubule of a nephron. So how it supplies the oxygen? Let us see. This efferent arteriole further it breaks down into certain branches, and that branches of the different arteries surrounds the whole nephron. It surrounds the whole renal tubule just to supply the oxygen. So whatever the oxygen is present in the blood which is carried by the efferent arteriole, that blood provides the oxygen to the renal tubule, to all the parts of the renal tubule. And the peritubular capillary, this efferent arteriole breaks down into small capillaries. It branches into capillaries. We call these capillaries as peritubular capillaries. So these peritubular capillaries surrounds the whole renal tubule, and the peritubular capillary which is surrounding the loop of Henle, which is present around the loop of Henle, we name this peritubular capillary as vasa recta. It is an important peritubular capillary as it is providing oxygen through blood to the loop of Henle. Loop of Henle is a U-shaped tube, right? So this peritubular capillaries are also in the U-shaped just to supply the oxygen to the loop of Henle. So we call this peritubular capillary as vasa recta. And this peritubular capillaries, they join together and they are going to open in a common vein. We call this vein as renal vein. So the peritubular capillaries are the capillaries that supplies the oxygen to the whole renal tubule. After the oxygen is taken up by the renal tubule, the blood becomes deoxygenated, right? So the deoxygenated blood from the peritubular capillaries can be taken by a vein called renal vein. This is how the filtration of blood and the supply of oxygen takes place through different arteries and veins. The main artery is efferent arteriole, which supplies the blood to the glomerulus. Then the glomerulus is a structure where the ultrafiltration of the blood takes place. After the filtrate is formed, it is transported into the Bowman's capsule. Now the blood which enters into the efferent arteriole, it further enters into the peritubular capillaries. Peritubular capillaries are the capillaries that are responsible to supply oxygen to the whole renal tubule. Once the oxygen is supplied to the renal tubule, this peritubular capillaries join together and they are going to open into a common vein, that is renal vein. So the deoxygenated blood can pass away through the renal vein, and the main peritubular capillary that is found in the structure of a nephron is vasa recta, which surrounds the loop of Henle. So this is about the structure of glomerulus and also about the different arteries and capillaries which are present in our excretory system. Now let us see the position of a nephron. Now based on the position of a nephron, we can classify the nephrons into two main types. They are, one is cortical nephron and the other one is juxtamedullary nephron. Now I told you that renal artery is further branched into so many arteries, and one such artery is efferent arteriole that further extended and the different arteries joined together to form a glomerular structure. In this way, the Bowman's capsule is present, and here the proximal convoluted tubule will be found. This one is our loop of Henle, and here the distal convoluted tubule. The cortical region of a kidney shows the presence of a nephron. almost all the parts of a nephron will be there in the cortex region, but here in the cortical nephron you can see that short loop of Henle is present. As the loop of Henle is short, it would not move, it would not extend it into the medullary pyramids. Some portion of the loop of Henle will be there in the medullary pyramid, but the other parts of the nephron will be there in the cortex region. So this type of a nephron is called as cortical nephron. In the cortical nephron, short loop of Henle is found, and cortical nephrons are about 15% only. In our kidneys, only 15% of the cortical nephrons are found. And based on the structure of the loop of Henle, as the loop of Henle is short, the peritubular capillaries which surrounds the loop of Henle, that will also be short. So based on this, we can say that cortical nephrons shows the reduced vasa recta. But when you see the other types of nephron like juxtamedullary nephrons, then this juxtamedullary nephron shows you all the parts like proximal convoluted tubule in the cortical region only, but the loop of Henle of the juxtamedullary nephron will be very long. So long loop of Henle is found in the juxtamedullary nephron. This long loop of Henle extended and moves into the medullary pyramids. So in this way, the whole structure of the loop of Henle is present in the medullary region of a kidney. We call this type of nephron as juxtamedullary nephron, and this juxtamedullary nephron comprises 85%. So 85% of the juxtamedullary nephrons are found in our kidney, and based on the structure of loop of Henle, again it shows the wide vasa recta. In this type of a nephron, we can see the wide vasa recta. Vasa recta is nothing but the peritubular capillary that surrounds the loop of Henle. As the loop of Henle is long, the vasa recta which surrounds it, it will be wide. So these are some of the differences in between the cortical nephrons and the juxtamedullary nephron. This is about the different types of nephron based on their position, whether the nephron is present in the cortex region or it is found in the medullary region. Based on that, we can classify them into cortical and juxtamedullary nephrons. So here the topic ends. In the next class, I'll explain you about the process of urine formation. Till then, goodbye.